Hey everyone. Back in 2010, my coach, Becky, who lives in Miami, Florida, became a coach. She gave a lot of thought to it. If you know her, she is not an impulsive person. She really puts a lot of thought into it. She'd always been in love with fitness. She had actually competed in like a bikini competition. Her whole family was, very tied to the fitness. Her sister had used to teach spin. They have a long history in health and fitness industry, and their passion runs very deep. When she decided to become a coach, she signed her sister up. Both of them really didn't know what they were doing. They just knew they loved fitness. Shakeology changed their life. Some of the programs like P90X and Asylum are what got their Beachbody fitness journey started. They couldn't have done it without the support of their husbands. They've been incredibly supportive along the way and, jumped on board with them. Today's a big day. Christina is leaving her job as a full-time lawyer. She's worked hard for this. She went to college. She's put in her blood, sweat, and tears, became a partner about 18 months ago. And I remember the first time I actually officially met Christina on the Success Club trip to Disney World in 2013. At the time, she had never intended on leaving her job. She'd worked really hard for this. She, took pride in the fact that she was a career woman. And the thing about life is that life changes. Your dreams change. The things that become important change. And that's one thing that I really have noticed with Beachbody is that people's goals change along the way. The more positive you become yourself, the more you surround yourself with positive, successful people, the more it is hard to stomach living a life of, being surrounded by negative people by doing something that you don't enjoy. Everybody knows that probably being a lawyer in that type of industry is very draining. You're taking care of people's problems. There's just the bickering back and forth, which comes with the job. She, at the time, didn't want to leave her job. A lot is because of the need for health insurance. I'll never forget in January of 2013 when we were in Miami and Jeff Hill, the Senior Vice President of Global Sales, was there. And, Beachbody's great. They hear what we say. He asked, well, what could Beachbody do for, for coaches? What would you suggest? And she said, Jeff, I'd really like health insurance to be available to coaches. Anybody who knows it, I'm totally in love with her son, DJ. He just caught my, heart, and he's an awesome kid along with Marley, their daughter. Well, DJ is autistic, and he requires therapy and one-on-one, and he's made leaps and bounds, and it's amazing. A lot was a help of one of Christina's personally sponsored diamond coaches, Paulina, who also is, I believe, working towards becoming a full-time coach. Don't quote me on that. But anyways, and he said, well, I just can't promise that. I really don't know if that'll happen. Well, anything that coaches say, Beachbody works really hard at helping us achieve our dreams and trying to do what they can to make our lives easier. Well, it's just announced probably about 6 weeks ago that health insurance is now available to us. So, this takes network marketing to a whole new level. So anyways, Christina put in her notice because she had changed her whole course of what her long-term goals were a few months back, and it was to be home with her family, to follow her heart, to be surrounded by positivity and helping people. So she put in her notice, and today's her last day, and I couldn't be happy for her. In September, I put in my notice, and 8 weeks later, on November 1st of 2013, I walked away from my job of 10 years of being in the insurance industry. And this was just shortly after my coach, who had been working 15 years as a project estimator in the construction industry, where she'd been for 15 years. Also, she worked really hard. She had a 6-figure salary, and she walked away. Since then, we've had several other coaches who've done the same thing. I want to share a few stories. Beachbody is the solution to your problems. I hear people who say, oh, well, maybe at a different time when the time is right. The time is right now. I mean, everybody needs this. I see on Facebook, I see from talking to people that everybody shares one common thing, is that they're uncertain of what their future is. They're stressing about things, years down the road, putting their kids through college, how to pay bills. People are in, mounds of debt, and they don't know how to get out, and they're just scared to take the leap. And I get that. I was there too. It took me months, about 9 months of people telling me, number one, my husband, to make the leap and walk away from my career and follow my heart and do what I was born to do, and that's being a coach. It really took my own boss to tell me, Mindy, this is what you love. Your heart's not in it. We'll miss you, but you don't have to be, great to leap, but you have to leap to be great. Life's too short to not follow your heart. Do it. And I remember sitting in my office and crying, and I was just scared to death. And when he told me, it's like, you don't have to be great to leap, but you have to leap to be great, is when I said, okay. And it probably took about 2 weeks later, and I turned in my 8-week resignation, and it's been the best thing that has ever happened to me. I don't ever want to go back to working with, bitter, negative coworkers, people who gave up on their dreams and are settling for punching the clock, working for somebody else's dream, and just being unhappy every day. I don't want to settle for working for somebody else and having to ask for time off, or worry about putting them in a bind or leaving my job duties behind. I don't ever want to settle for, missing out on things of my kid's life. Everybody knows I'm not really like a huge kid person or anything anymore, but I was able to go on Rebels field trip the other day, and me and him had a great time. And like Ryan said, you really don't have to go because you don't want to be around a bunch of toddlers. But I said, you know what? I missed out on all those things with my girls, and I would rather go suck it up and be stuck with 40 little 33 and 4-year-olds who are running around screaming and being loud than look back and know that I missed that. And I would have missed that had I still been working. Beachbody's the solution. I hear people who say, I'm having problems, financially. I'm in debt, and I'm like, try coaching. And everybody's like, no, they just see this as a burden. I think that I've done a really good job of sharing the value and the opportunity with the coaches on my team and anyone I come in contact with. Over the last couple of months, a few things have happened. One of my diamond coaches, who believes 100% down to her core that this is the solution. This is not a burden financially or, in any other aspect. This is the key to a better future. It's given her hope. It's given her, restored her hope in mankind. She worked in the bar industry for a long time and just began to dislike people, and she didn't like her job, and it was rewarding for her. It put her through college. It helped her buy her first home with her husband. She met a lot of great people, but overall, it just grew stagnant, and she just hated it. She sold the bar business, went back to work for somebody, and just I think was kind of lost. Beachbody came in her life at the right time, even though she didn't realize it. And I remember telling her, this is going to change your life. I sent it to her an email, and she rolled her eyes and thought, God, this lady's crazy, which she still thinks I'm crazy. But, she still saved the email, and it's just, anyway, she just said it has changed her life. She didn't believe it, and it's just crazy to me what we've accomplished. I mean, we've cried together. We've just become very close. Her husband lost her job unexpectedly right before the holidays, which as a parent or just anybody who, gets into the holidays knows how scary that is. He was bringing in the majority of the income at the time. And I remember when she told me that, he lost his job. I mean, I was like, oh my God, because, I have a family. I understand how scary that is. And I said, are you okay? What can I do? She's like, we're going to be okay. And they were okay. And I said, you're not freaking out or anything? She's like, no. She's like, because I have Beachbody. She's like, the personal development has helped me learn how to weather these storms. And I know that I can do it. I have a business from home. Well, he found a job earlier this year. And they're living apart right now, 5 days a week, and he's living 4 hours away, and she's going to be moving. And it's very stressful for her. They're trying to sell their house that they've been in for 15 years. They have kids in sports, and they love each other a lot. And it's hard to be apart. I've been there too. But she's going to be relocating up there, and she's not scared because of the fact that she has a job. She's moving to the Dallas area, where it's like that's the, a huge area where some of the most successful coaches are. So she has a huge, support network, and she knows that she's not going to be alone. It's not scary moving somewhere knowing nobody. She has this freedom. Her husband went on the Success Club trip on the cruise in March of this year, and he really saw what a family was and what this opportunity is. And he told her, you need to be at Summit. He had actually... He's not a planner if you know him, but he went online, he looked at flights, he found out there was a P90X certification there. He told her, you need to do this, fly in on Monday. He believes in this. He is on board. Recently, too, one of my other personally sponsored diamond coaches, she had been in an unhealthy relationship and always had been. And, we spent lots of time talking about her situation, and I was always there for her. And that's one thing about our team, is that we become family. I'm not just a dictator. I'm not just, your boss or your, sponsor. I'm your friend. And I was really sad for her. We connected on a lot of levels, and she was able to leave her unhappy marriage and do what was best for her sanity, mentally, emotionally, in her heart, and for her kids. And another thing was that, she was okay too. I remember when we talked and she told me her decision. I, of course, supported her. I want her to be happy. But I saw a difference with her. It's the personal development. It's the support that she had that helped her make this decision, helped her be okay, not just financially. Now she can, afford to be a single mom of 3, and she got an apartment or a townhouse. She's doing fine, but mentally and emotionally, she was okay because she has Beachbody. In fact, I think there was like 6 or 7 Houston coaches who went and helped her. They got like 6 vehicles and helped her move. I mean, that's awesome. And she's doing okay. I mean, she's really doing okay, despite, making a huge decision and, taking on the role of mom and dad for 3 children. I mean, the kids' fathers are present. But either way, day to day, she's the one taking care of this. She's okay with it. And that's amazing. Another one of my coaches, she is one of my personally sponsored diamond coaches. She got into coaching, and she's a teacher, a photographer, a mom, a wife of a police officer or investigator, and her children in sports. She's a powerhouse, man. She is a leader. She really takes on a lot on her plate, and even with her time constraints and all the roles she's managing, she rocks it. But, she loved Beachbody. And I remember when I went full-time, she was at her wit's end trying to juggle, managing, getting back in the routine of school and kids and, all these things that she was doing. I mean, she's a photographer, one of the most talented photographers within probably, right in our, surrounding counties. I love her. But, there's a lot of work with that. You have to do editing. You have to, meet people in photo shoots. She's had a lot going on. And, I never push anybody to go full-time. That's a huge decision that impacts the whole family. I don't want to lead anybody astray or tell them to do it because, it may not be for everybody. But I remember we were sitting on the phone one day when I was sitting in the parking lot when I went to pick up Rebel, and she just said, she was like, I'll never, quit my job. I will never give up coaching. I love it. I love what I'm doing. But she's like, I love teaching. She's like, maybe in a couple of years when, the kids, or older, maybe I will. And then something just changed. I don't know if it's that she realized that she could do this, she deserves it, or it's just that she wanted to be surrounded by more positivity and, be free to be her own person, or, and I know that, wanting to be with her family more often because she doesn't get a lot of time with her family, it was the motivation, but she just said, okay, I'm ready. And, I told her the same thing I tell everybody. Well, just think about it. I don't want to push you because I don't want to be responsible if, this isn't for you. But she did it. She turned in her resignation. And after teaching, school, being a school teacher for, a decade now, she's walking away from it to be with her family. It's huge. So she believes that this is an opportunity. I have 3 other new coaches who, shortly after they became coaches, they were offered very, different positions with different companies. And they made the decision to stick it out where they were at, which was less pay, but give them more time with their family. And they knew that this was a huge opportunity. They were going to work hard. They were going to stay consistent, follow my lead, and duplicate what I've been doing because they know it's possible. Instead of taking that job that would be more stress, but more money, and maybe cash out immediately financially for them, but they believe it. And they said they talked to their husbands about it, and their husbands said the same thing. This is opportunity. They've not pushed their husbands to work the business or become, working coaches. They've just shared with them all along my story, their passion, what the opportunity is, and what's important with them. And their husbands supported them. All of these coaches have done that. About 2 weeks ago, another one of my coaches as well, she was let go of her job. And she texted me, and it was the same thing too. It's like, oh my God, are you okay? And she said, I'm good. I'm great. I wanted to be a full-time coach all along. It happened a little bit sooner, but now I'm ready to take this on. Her whole life's changed. She gets to be home with our kids. We get to do one-on-one calls weekly because we're both home. And the thing is, she's okay. That's what so many of you just don't understand, is that have faith in it. Share it with your family. Let them know what's going on. Let them know what's important. Let them know what the opportunity. I see so many coaches who just try to do a 360 on their whole family and push it down their throat, but they never explain what's going on. And then they get discouraged because their families don't just jump on board, and their family is resentful because they don't know what's going on. They just see, mom or dad has this new venture and it's eating up all their time and we don't know about it. So my thing is, share this. Don't settle for less. I'm not saying to disrespect your spouse, but share what's going on. Share them stories about the success stories of just everyday normal people like myself, who was a failure my whole entire life, who just decided to take the leap, and everything has came together exactly the way it was supposed to. Share with your kids. I told my kids all along in 2012, mom's working really hard. If we all work together and if we make a little bit of sacrifices right now, we're all going to get to go to Disney World. We're going to get to do this together. So they saw that this was important. So, they jumped on board. They picked up the slack. They, understood that I would be gone sometimes to events on weekends. I would be on calls at nighttime. They adjusted. They told everybody about it. I mean, my Haley was telling her grandma has cancer, and she has a caregiver that comes in, and the caregiver was asking about T25. Well, she was like telling her all the stuff about 21 Day Fix, and I'm like, my Lord, my child has been listening, and she knows what's going on. This is a family business. This is a family venture. This isn't just mom's thing. And then when we got to go to Disney World, she got to see all these people that I'd been talking about that have changed their life, and they become their family. I brought people in our home like Richard Neal and Melissa McAllister and Daniel Henson, and brought my family to this. This isn't just mom's business. This is mom's life, and this is our family life. My husband goes to every event. He knows who my coaches are. He knows what's going on. He's never missed an event. He drinks Shakeology every day. That's it. I'm not trying to push him to eat broccoli and cauliflower every meal. I'd love for him to eat more vegetables, but I'm just happy that he supports me. He knows the opportunity. He's seen what it's done for me, that it's positive. He's made the sacrifices as well, which has made it easier for me. So I just really ask everybody who's questioning, is this for me? My thing is, do you believe that this is a great opportunity? Do you believe that this is going to help you? Are you getting involved with the coaches in our community? Do you know them? Are you reaching out to them to be friends? Or you're just trying to do this on your own? The biggest thing about Team Beachbody is we provide a family, and we become friends, and we become trusted associates. We become each other's biggest fans when our own family, who are assholes, don't support us or ever mention a word we're doing. So my thing is, reach out to these people. Get on calls, go to events, see what this is doing, engage in personal development, because this is what's going to change your mindset, change your emotions, change your mentality whenever bad things happen, like divorces and, kids get sick and unexpected bills and, coworkers that just suck the life out of you, and bosses, my boss was great, but bosses who are just dictators and just make your life hell. Look at Beachbody as a solution. Don't just throw the towel in and say, well, I'll just stay with this and just complain about it every day. Do something about it. Look into Beachbody. It is life-changing. We have probably 10 or 12 people that have quit their jobs and are doing this full time, or were let go and don't seek employment outside of the home because they know this is a solution. We have another coach on our team the other day who closed down her business. She was a vet, a doctor. I mean, somebody who had this, business of clientele. And I mean, she packed up this thing of all these files and stuff. She's like, I'm closing the doors to be a Beachbody coach because she worked hard. So this can happen. We're just normal people. I'm a wife. I'm a mom. Don't have any college. Was a teen mom. Have left home at 15. Been married 3 times. Drug, alcohol problems. Self-esteem issues. Forgiveness issues, people issues, you name it. And if I can do it, by God, anybody else can. So if you want, I am opening up a 5-day coach sneak peek where it just kind of lets you know what we do, because a lot of people make some really, really, way off assumptions on what you have to do as a coach or what's expected. And they just close off the idea of becoming a coach and the opportunity that it presents itself, there's the fact that too, if you're drinking Shakeology and you've been drinking it for more than a month, you need to become a discount coach. I mean, you don't have to sell. You don't have to do what I do. You don't have to want to leave your job. You don't want to have, you don't have to go to events on the weekends or travel or go on awesome trips like we do. You don't have to do that. That's just a perk, but you don't have to. If that just intimidates you, like the idea of going to Cancun next year, if that intimidates you, you don't have to do it. But if you're drinking Shakeology and have for over a month, you need to become a coach. People buy stuff on Amazon and eBay and Groupon and, the garage sale here around town to get things at a discount, but like they won't become a discount coach. I'm assuming it's because they have these assumptions about what needs to be done or what's expected of them, and it's wrong. So next Monday, which is the 19th, I am opening up a private group. It's 5 days. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to post any pictures. It just gives you a glimpse into my life as a coach and aspects of coaching that you may not be aware of, or you may be misinformed on. So, there's no pressure, no obligation, no cost, but you get to be part of this if you'd like to learn more. If some of these stories that I shared you're relating to and saying, God, I'd like to have that hope, that I have a better future and a better, satisfying life at the, end of my days. So you can be part of this. You just have to reach out to me. This is only going to be for non-coaches. This is to give everybody a glimpse into the life of a coach. If you're a coach, you should already know this. And if you don't, reach out to your own coach or your upline Star Diamond coach to get some more information if you're not aware of some of these things. But this is open to anybody who's interested or just wants to be nosy and is curious about what coaches do. I'm going to share a lot with you in 5 days, and at the end you can think about it, or you can say this isn't for me now, or I'm ready to jump on board now. So anyways, let me know if you'd like to be part of it. I hope that, some of the things I just said give you hope. If you're, unhappy or even miserable with your life, there is hope, and it's Beachbody.